system.
Hey, you wanna hear a good joke? Nobody speak, nobody get choked.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Out of here, baby! Nobody speak. Nobody speak. Nobody speak. Nobody get choked.
I knew you'd come.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Wrestling Podcast equivalent of WCW's Tex Schlesinger and Shanghai Pierce. Welcome to the Sunday Night Slam here on 2BK Magazine and 2BKRadio.com. Yes, I compared us to jobbers.
Thanks.
Well, you want to know who they went on to be in the WWE?
Who?
The Hog Farmers. Henry and Phineas Godwin. Yep.
I think I'm done now.
One of them was behind a mask. Tex Schlesinger and Shanghai Pierce. If you want to know something about those guys, watch Battle Bowl 93. It's really the only true WCW pay-per-view appearance they have, and it's god-awful.
Well, that's because they're kind of awful.
Joining me on today's show is my partner on the show and in life, Miss Ashley.
Hey, apparently you don't want to be nice to me today.
I do want to be nice to you today. At least I'm not treating you on Twitter like Ronda Rousey's getting treated by Becky Lynch.
No, because I know where you sleep.
Becky Lynch is owning Ronda Rousey, and it is fan-frickin-tastic. Hopefully we'll get Phil back soon. That's kind of what I keep trying. And
Phil has life going on right now.
Phil met a girl. I think this has to be discussed for a second. Phil met a girl. I'm waiting for him to job to her, but he met a girl. So
I mean, that's kind of his go-to move.
that is his go-to move. I wonder if he's applied to sharpshooter.
You should text and ask him.
Have you applied to sharpshooter to your lady friend? I will get a fuck you text back as quick as possible. I might
believe that.
I might do that later.
I think that would be a great idea.
All right, guys, we got a lot to cover. Short amount of time. It is Sunday. We are 2 weeks away from the granddaddy of them all. Lord is to God, because the time WrestleMania is over, all of us will become granddads and grandmoms.
17 hours long.
17 matches. WrestleMania 35's predicted runtime right now is supposed to be in between 7 and 8 hours. Are you fucking kidding me? And I don't know if that counts the pre-show or not.
It better count the pre-show.
So WrestleMania in 2 weeks from tonight. I'm indifferent.
Yeah, I feel like I'm supposed to be a lot more excited this close to WrestleMania.
And I'm not.
And I'm really, there's a lot of great stories building.
There's 4 great stories going on right now.
But I'm also really afraid that they're going to shank this.
Oh, God.
And it's just going to go really freaking left. And if all of these stories turn out great, then it's going to be a wonderful and go down as one of the best WrestleManias.
Oh, no, we're going to have this amazing end to this show.
But
when it's all said and done, we're going to look back and go, this might be the greatest WrestleMania ever.
But if this thing goes sideways, it's going to fail so freaking hard.
Oh, where do we start? There is so much to cover. Let's start with Kurt Angle, because I feel that's the top wrestling story of the week in a way. Kurt Angle announced on Raw 2 weeks ago that he was going to retire and that he was going to have his last match at WrestleMania 35.
Which is great.
He's main evented 2 WrestleManias, one technical last match, but not a WWE title match and another one, so
yeah.
And a world title match at 22. We all thought it was going to be John Cena. There was rumors it could be The Undertaker, Kurt kind of put John Cena on the map. That's 100%.
I feel like that would have been a very fitting end for him.
My God. I never will forget that. Here comes John Cena in actual wrestling trunks out to a match, and he's going to Kurt Angle ask, why are you challenging me? And this is right after Vince McMahon told that he needs more ruthless aggression in the WWE. And right after that, John Cena says, ruthless aggression, and then just takes out Kurt Angle. And it's a really cool moment on SmackDown, and that would have made sense.
I think that would have been a great way for him to go out. But also, after hearing what goes along with this, because Baron Corbin's his last match.
As of
Okay.
right now. As of right now.
Slated to be this is Baron Corbin. Okay, fine, whatever.
I don't hate Baron Corbin. I know a lot of people do.
I don't particularly care for him.
No, I know. It's kind of...
It's neither here nor there. It's fine. It's whatever.
Baron Corbin is strawberry milk. Either you really like it, or you... like it. Well, I guess it just falls in the middle. Like, you could take it, but it's not chocolate. But it's better than white.
No, it's not.
Look, strawberry milk... if you put the strawberry syrup in yourself, it is better than white milk.
No, it is not.
You can stop that crap right
I
now.
really dislike strawberry milk.
Well, you're wrong. But I'm right,
Throw
though.
a jelly bean at you.
But I am right, though. Baron Corbin is the equivalent of strawberry quick,
I'll give you that.
where you either like it or he just falls in the middle. Like, you can take it or leave it. Like, it doesn't matter either way. You like it, you hate it. Meh. Baron Corbin is the epitome of meh. Like, if you were to look up med, Urban Dictionary, there would be a picture of Baron Corbin looking like a Chili's waiter.
Boo, Baron Corbin, boo.
You're not a chicken. You're a chicken nugget. And
It's two of my favorite insults ever hurled at the
At best
same
same
person,
guy.
which means something.
he's good at what he does. I think he's a great
A
heel.
lot of people hate strawberry milk.
He's a good chicken shit heel, right?
Kinda.
So when this match gets announced, there's a rumors that it's going to be The Undertaker or John Cena or Shelton Benjamin, because that would have made sense. Chad Gable was on that list. That was one of the ones Kurt named. AJ Styles, EC3.
And all of those would be great.
All of these names made perfect sense. And then WWE's like, here's
Nope,
Baron
Baron
Corbin.
Corbin. Well, fuck you people. Like, over it. Over it. 100% over it. And I think it's made worse by the fact that it's been said that this is not who he picked.
Yeah, no, there's a story come out that says this isn't who Kurt Angle wanted. He wanted John Cena. WWE's now in backtrack mode. They might pull Baron Corbin from the match. They may not pull Baron Corbin from the match. They don't really know at this point.
Nobody knows what's going on, but I feel like if it's your retirement match, you deserve to get to pick who you want to be against.
I do find it weird. They just announced on Twitter that Kurt Angle's going to wrestle on SmackDown against AJ Styles, which means SmackDown is again this week the must-see wrestling program of the week for WWE that's not NXT.
That's not NXT. I like that you throw that in there.
Well, I mean,
NXT is pretty much always must watch.
Yeah, no, and especially right now with Tommaso Ciampa's injury and how which we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yes, we will.
So, I mean, that's kind of I don't know how to feel. Again, I enjoy Baron Corbin, but it is what it is. I don't think he's slated for a main event style match at a WrestleMania because that's a marquee match. You're wrestling Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, number one. That's a marquee match. Even
Yes.
that Kurt's a part-timer.
Just because of the history that's attached with him.
But it's his last fucking match. That alone makes that match the most special match, one of the more special matches of the entire night in MetLife Stadium,
Yeah.
New York City, the birthplace of Wrestle fucking Mania. Okay, so it's New Jersey. So just across the cesspool from the birthplace of WrestleMania.
Birthplace adjacent.
Birthplace adjacent. Because Ring of Honor kind of stole the birthday party.
They did not steal it.
Well, Vince McMahon let them I got theories about that later. We were going to talk some Ring of Honor, but
Vince could have had it, and Vince chose not to, and that's on him. And it's kind of a really shitty thing.
Baron Corbin, Kurt Angle, it's kind of now the piss break.
Like, that screams average Tuesday night to me.
It does.
It's
a Raw match.
Sound like final match ever, WrestleMania. This is awesome.
And you get that. Not even being a longtime fan, even I think you understand that. Because seeing the Undertaker's match against Roman, that was a last match.
That was a last match.
Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. I know you haven't seen that match yet.
I've seen bits and pieces
You've
of it.
seen
and
that?
I've
I'm
seen
sorry, I love you.
I've seen the ending. That is a last
Last match.
Like, it's one thing if you end up and you have to retire due to injury or something and your last match was a shit match. Like,
Edge.
accidents happen.
Poor Edge.
And if you have to go out on a bad note, you're kind of just screwed and your last match is your last match. When you plan for retirement, you deserve to leave the way you want to leave.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, clearly within reason.
Yeah, no, you should be able to leave on your own terms. You should be able, like, I know Kurt wants to put somebody over. That's how Kurt's been, and that's how he was in TNA, Impact,
And
whatever the hell they're
that's
called this week.
fine, but
I don't mind him putting over someone like Corbin maybe on Raw.
especially if this is not the person he wants for his last
If he
match.
did choose Baron, if that's just a rumor and he actually did choose Baron Corbin,
then that's fine.
They
I'm not
have to
gonna
double
complain.
down. They cannot pull Baron. If Kurt actually chose Baron Corbin, you cannot pull him. You have to double down.
No, and like I'm gonna complain about it a little because I don't think it's that great. But if that's who he chose, then I'm fine with it. That's like with the Undertaker Roman thing. Did I want to see Undertaker Roman? No.
Was the match okay?
Was the match good? Yeah, the match was all right. And if that's who Taker chose, then that's fine. Like, I am going to respect what you want. I'm just going to complain a little.
There is a tweet that Kurt's wife sent out after the moment it was announced that Baron Corbin was going to be Kurt Angle's opponent and said that's a bit underwhelming. So, yeah, that happened.
So that's where we're at then.
Yeah, no, that's kind of where we are. So let's move on to something good. Do I think they're going to replace Baron if Kurt didn't pick him? Yeah, 100%. We're gonna see a new opponent probably Monday or Tuesday because Kurt's going to be on SmackDown. We could see Kurt choose someone from Smack. Like they could redo this whole thing, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean that's not.
There's still part of me that's sad we never got
not
to
a
see
bad
Daniel Bryan Kurt angle.
That would be pretty wonderful.
There's still a little bit of me that's sad. Let's before we get to the big Ballad of Kofi Kingston story this week.
Are we going to save that?
For a minute, yeah. Let's talk the other stories that are going decently well into
Okay.
WrestleMania.
What do we got?
AJ Styles, Randy Orton right now is probably a marquee match that I never knew I needed until now. I never thought I would say those words because I'm not the biggest Randy Orton fan. In fact, I find Randy boring as hell. But here I am, excited about Randy Orton, AJ Styles, because one, it's never happened. It's two of the big names in WWE at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's happening. The first match is one-on-one at WrestleMania. Yeah, the match is probably going to suck. But it is.
Why do you think it's going to suck?
It's Orton. But
I mean, he's not terrible.
yeah, but AJ's had two dream matches in the last year that supposed to be was going to burn down the wrestling world in the WWE. And they both were lackluster. I don't know if that's against AJ or just against the style WWE is or what, because his match with Shinsuke should have been amazing last year and it wasn't.
Oh, he's so bad.
And then his match with Samoa Joe at SummerSlam should have been amazing and it wasn't. So it's not that I have anything against AJ, who just re-signed 3 years with the company. So we know he's still around for a while.
Yeah.
So I predict AJ now to win this match. But AJ Orton screams to me, if this other story was not going on, the WWE title would be in this picture.
Probably. I can see that, and that's not a bad thing. They're both main event guys.
Honest to
and
God, if the
that's fine.
WWE title was in this match, it's the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's over.
down.
It's over Seth and Brock. It's over the women.
Everything needs
The
to be with Seth and
promo.
Brooke.
I'm not the biggest Orton fan of promos. I don't think AJ's a great promo either. I think he's okay. I think he can suffice. But the last 2 weeks, holy balls. They've been cutting hell of promos. And then Orton on SmackDown this week with Kofi, and they revisited the moment back 10 years ago when he called him stupid, and they brought that into the match. Orton wore the same trunks in that match that he did when Kingston beat him the last time.
Wow.
There was a lot of continuity between Orton and Kingston, which, holy
I can
crap.
appreciate that.
Yeah, no. So Orton's on fire right now. I love this side of Orton. I'm glad he's back being a heel and not some weird ass face that takes horrible pictures and gets
Ass
pissy
face?
at fans. Yeah,
You call
and gets
him an
pissy
ass
at
face.
fans. But I'm super stoked right now for AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and if it was the title involved, that's the main event.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that it wouldn't be.
I'll compare it to something.
Okay.
Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 7. It's not the main event, but damn it, when you think of a show, that might be the match you think of.
There's a possibility.
So
I've never been super big on Randy Orton. When I started watching with you originally,
he was injured.
He was injured. And so for the first 4 to 5 months,
I think it was longer than that, honestly.
it might have been longer than that. Like there was a significant amount of time where he just wasn't there. And so I never thought of him, and then he just shows back up and is like, who is this weird guy? Like
Who's this guy who hears voices in his head?
Like I don't like this guy. I have no attachment to this guy. And he's not a nice person. Like I know that he's not a nice person outside of this.
No, he's not.
He's kind of an ass to fans. And now you want me to like him? No.
I hear voices in my head.
You should get that checked out.
Yeah, I know. Every time I hear that song, I
You
crack
should
up.
get that checked
I actually
out.
like Orton's original theme better than that one.
Which was what?
It was a Rev Theory song, I believe. I'll play it for you sometime.
Okay.
It's a lot better. Whenever time he strikes the Orton pose, that's the song that I hear in my head, not the one he has now. Well, ironically,
Strikes the Orton pose.
yeah. Well, originally he was supposed to have CM Punk's theme, and he said no to that. And then they gave it to CM Punk. This Fire Burns. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's also not the song.
By Killswitch Engage.
That is not the song that I think of
For CM
when
Punk.
I think of CM Punk.
No, you think of Cult of Personality.
Because that's all I've seen with him ever.
It's weird to know how wrestling themes work sometimes. We have a new fan around. Hi, Kat.
She is super interested in recording.
So, oh, crap. So, we're going to move on from that. Let's go to the next story. Let's talk the women's match. The Raw Women's Championship, the
Which is
other main event.
So close to being perfect.
They fucked it up on Monday. I don't know. I know it's a work. I'm 90% sure it's a work. But now I don't know. The Ronda Rousey wrestling's fake promo still bothers me. I get it. I get you're trying to be edgy, but that's a Vince Russo move. At this point, we're one step away from putting a panties on a pole. Like
I mean, don't put it past them.
well,
It is a three-way match. It can be all kinds of weird rules.
they did do a schoolgirl paddle on a pole match at one point in WWE. Yep. Torrie Wilson versus Dawn Marie.
I just can't anymore.
It was a different time frame. Hall of Famer Torrie Wilson and Dawn Marie. I got to rephrase my statement there.
But
I've got a beef with that shit too. Not that she's going in the Hall of Fame, but with people complaining about her going in
why
the
are
Hall
people
of Fame.
complaining?
I'll
about
get
her?
to that.
Okay.
So this story is great. If it would have just been Becky Ronda,
Phenomenal.
that's the main event. But you throw Charlotte in, and it's kind of been convoluted as balls. I don't know what they're doing.
I just don't understand the point of adding Charlotte. Did they not think that it was
Charlotte-
a high-profile
okay.
enough match?
To be honest with you, the main event, the women's match, should be Charlotte and Becky and not Ronda in this, because Charlotte and Becky have earned that fucking spot.
Yes.
I don't believe the only reason this would even be counted as the main event, though, is because WWE doesn't have faith in them. They have to throw in Ronda Rousey. That's a personal opinion. I don't hate Ronda. I'm now indifferent towards Ronda. That's more than I like. I used to like her. Now I'm just like, just go away for just a little bit, because the fans are turning on her, but she's treating the fans like poop.
So I mean, what do you expect? You can't have everything. You can't have everything. You need to figure out which direction you're going to go with your character and who you're going to be as a person.
Charlotte,
stick with it,
I
and
feel
it's fine.
I feel Charlotte got thrown into this match to take the pin,
Unfortunately, yeah.
because it's not going to be Ronda that gets pinned,
No, because you got to keep her looking strong.
and she's not going to tap out. It should. I mean, that's what it should be.
It would be amazing if she did.
Because now she has.
won't.
Okay, so we all know how Ronda gets when she loses.
Yeah.
And we have this moment now where she has now said wrestling's fake.
Yeah.
That's going to be her out for losing and trying to defend it to people where it doesn't matter. It's pro wrestling. I don't understand the argument or the logistics of her argument in this.
Because it makes no sense.
It is what it is. I mean,
You just... I don't know what to say on this, honestly. And it really... This is just where they're going to be. It's going to make no sense, and they always mess up women's wrestling.
main event or no?
No.
Do you think AJ...
I don't think they're going to give it to him.
I think they're the next to last match. I really do. I think they're I think there's going to be a double main... Okay, so I think they're actually going to build this show bottom heavy. Like, it's going to go in a crescendo. I think
That would
this
be
is...
amazing.
I think this is going to be the first time they actually do that in a long time, where they crescendo up. But they also can't put 4 fucking moments back to back, or 3 moments back to back to back. They can't do that.
True.
New Japan can do that unless you have unless all 3 matches are over 20 minutes. That's the only way you could theoretically do moment.
And you've got to have a really good, solid build to the match. And I don't know how well these guys are going to work together to start out at a slow enough pace to let the crowd get back into it.
Unless you put like the cheese segments in between, like here's Elias, here's someone else. You could do that theoretically.
You could. You've got to have some kind of a break to let the audience process what
honest
they've
to
seen
God,
and catch their breath.
I think there's if the three top stories, which is because ultimately we're going to look at Becky winning the Raw Women's Championship,
yeah,
Seth winning the Universal,
yeah.
and possibly seeing Kofi Kingston WWE champion.
Dear God, I hope so.
You cannot put those three moments back to back to back.
You just can't.
You will kill the crowd after the first one.
Somebody's going out of here having a heart attack.
So almost you have to segment the show where it builds and crescendos, and then it builds again and crescendos, and then it builds again and crescendos. So you have to have three main events on a show, or if you put all three matches back to back to back, you have to have filler in between that. So you have Elias, you could put the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, you could put a bullshit match in there.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you do?
But then again, if you're going to rank it and try to do a crescendo on this, Seth Rollins has to go first.
Yeah, well,
Just because there's not enough attached to that story.
other than Brock losing the championship, and do they see that as the? Here's the big problem
but then
with
my
this.
issue is it's Brock fucking Lesnar, and are they going to put that as the main event because it's him?
I am worried that Brock retains. I don't think they're going to pull three stories that we want to see on a one night. I just don't.
They have had a change in their writing staff.
I know. We talked about that. But I don't think they're going to pull three changes in one night
But
like
they
this.
should.
Oh, no, they should. They should completely go outside the box and be like, here's this moment, here's this moment, here's this moment. Now there's a rumor of Demon Balor versus fucking Undertaker out there.
Which I don't know if people can handle. Like, that is literally 47 minutes of
Entrance. Hands down. That's all entrance.
Hey, that could almost be a filler match.
Well, like
could-
last year where Taker wrestled John Cena, it was only like 3.5 minutes
That
long.
could almost be a filler match because it's literally 47 minutes of entrance if you've got Undertaker and the demon character together.
That is a rumor that's out there. Will that happen? I don't think so. But you never know with the WWE at this point.
It would be awesome.
That could actually go as an unannounced match.
I would love that.
Because you don't have to announce everything right now because, shit, people are going to buy it just for the name.
There is
You need to announce
so
the big-
much already announced.
Well, they haven't announced everything. I mean,
They've
that's
announced so much of the main stuff that I think they've announced enough. They don't have to say anything else if they don't want to.
like we know the women's tag titles are going to be on the line. I know we've ventured off, but again, I agree. I don't know. I don't think if Becky Lynch's title wins is going to happen, which I'm about 90% sure it does. That's a moment that's going to pop the crowd. She has the number one. She's the highest merch seller in WWE right now. She
Number
has
one Funko Pop.
Yeah, she's got the number one Funko Pop. Like, I don't know if you put her last or not, because this is the strangest moment I've ever seen for this company. Because every year you can at least go, that's the clear-cut main event. Even when there was 2 championships, you could go, that's the clear-cut main event.
No, you can't this time. And there's 2 that I feel like should be the main event. But it really depends on which one's going to end in the better story, what's going to be the better actual final match. If it's going to be the women's match or the Daniel Bryan Coffee match.
If that
It
happens.
just depends. It's going to happen.
We'll get to that.
It is going to happen, and if it doesn't, I might not watch.
So the women's tag match is probably going to be announced this week, which it's going to be the Boston Hug Connection, Beth Phoenix and Natalya, Nia and Tamina, and the Iconics. Because the Iconics won against the Boston Hug
Which
Connection.
sounds amazing.
Which I love and I'm picking the Iconics. I think this is a cool moment for them. We don't know who Asuka's opponent is. That's kind of in the middle of nothing. I know they're doing a Fatal 4-Way number
Corey
one.
Sane?
Well, they're doing a Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match. Oh, speaking of that, Kairi Sane and Io Shirai are also kind of being talked about for that women's tag title match. And I'm thinking they can't do a Fatal 5-Way, can they?
They can.
That
And they will.
and
And
if
they
they
would
do,
win.
And if they do, it needs to be an elimination.
Yes.
That's the only way to make that work.
I'll give you that.
Okay, so
And
now
I feel like either the two of them need to win, or I would love to see Natalya and Beth Phoenix, honestly.
so I've seen the
Just to have a short run because
Just 'cause
they
of
deserve
Beth.
it. They deserve it so much. They've
So-
done so much.
So here's my weird. I've seen the card, like the potential card.
Yes.
And there's a triple threat for the Raw tag titles. It's going to be the Revival, Aleister Black and Ricochet, and a mystery team.
Okay.
Then there's going to be like a
Which
four.
could be your NXT call up.
It could be Heavy Machinery, honestly.
Or Heavy Machinery.
I'm digging those guys. Otis Dojovic might be the coolest guy in WWE right now. There's no argument.
After seeing some backstage segments with him, I'm warming up to them much
He's
more.
great. Then there's the SmackDown tag team titles, which we now know is the Usos against the Hardys, against the Bar, against another team.
We're quickly slipping into Japan with these like 7,000 multi-man matches.
But a different style of multi-man match.
But
where
it's a different style of multi-man match. But you're still going to end up with 4 dozen people on the show.
And then the rumor for Asuka is that it's going to be some sort of fatal 4-way match, or I've read that it could be Asuka Sonya Deville. I've read that it could be Asuka Mandy. I've read that it could be Asuka Mandy Sonya. I've read that it could be Asuka Naomi. I've read that it could be Asuka Naomi Sonya Mandy. Like,
You can't have everything be a 4-way match. You can't have everything be a 4-way match.
I'm going to tell you what this show's starting to remind me of.
Okay.
WrestleMania 16, which is branded as WrestleMania 2000. At that WrestleMania, there was only one singles match. One.
Ugh.
And it was the women's match.
Ugh.
At a time where women's wrestling kind of boned. It sucked. But you got the first TLC match at that show, which I
Which
guess
is
was
pretty phenomenal.
Which wasn't a TLC. I think it was just a tag team ladder match. But, there's tables and ladders involved. The main event had a McMahon in every corner. Yeah.
What?
Shane was in the corner of the Big Show. Vince is in the corner of The Rock. Stephanie's in the corner of Triple H. And Linda's in the corner of Mick Foley for the WWF Championship.
Linda got involved?
Linda got involved a lot back in the day. Like, she was the worst to take a stunner, too. The worst. Like, she'd get stunned and she'd just flop. It's great. Seeing a Linda McMahon take a stunner is funny.
I mean, she's an old woman. She shouldn't be doing that. Even then, I mean, understand then.
She's part of the cabinet. That needs to be a fucking heel stable in WWE.
That makes her less of an old woman.
She's in politics,
Like,
damn it.
she was in her 50s, and 50-year-olds should not take moves like that unless they've been doing that for 40 years.
She took the stunner like a champ. Just want to say that. So, I mean, there's a lot of good... So, WrestleMania is just being thrown together, but the main stories are so good, it kind
You
of
can't detract from that. You cannot put a much more heart into this, or it's going to be too much.
So, we don't know Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe just got announced. They've never had a one-on-one match. I'm fucking stoked about this.
We're going to see him next week.
Yeah. He's going to be playing at Comic-Con, which is next week. We're doing a weird episode of SNS. That's why we're talking a little bit more about WrestleMania this week, because we can't really cover news next week because we're going to be gone.
Yes.
We will have a show next week, and it's going to be odd.
Just bear with us. It's going to be fun.
Which we might be able to talk a little bit of stuff going on in that show. We'll talk about that at the end. So Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe's happening at WrestleMania. That's a great match. That's going to be fine. But there's no build there other than and it should be Rey Mysterio Andrade. That was the build.
It should be.
I don't know what they're doing. Like, at this point, but
That's what bothers me is, like, are they going to shank this and mess up every one of these big
moments.
possible matches?
So here's the next part is Seth Rollins and Brock, which has Seth winning the Royal Rumble. And usually the Royal Rumble winner gets the main event spot.
Usually.
But
it doesn't
I don't think
guarantee you a main event at WrestleMania. It guarantees you the title match at WrestleMania.
But this is that spot now where it's like, I don't know if I care as much about this that I once did.
I feel like you can't care about it as much because there's so much already built into these other stories.
And plus, I can see WWE keeping the championship on Brock Lesnar. Sorry, I said that wrong. Brock Lesnar.
Nah.
I could see WWE keeping the championship on him for another couple of months.
Which makes absolutely no sense.
I would rather see the Universal Champion actually wrestle on a show, a house show or something, because I don't think ever since, I think the last person to defend that championship on a house show, I think Roman may have for that month he had it. So not taking that in consideration because he gave it
Brock
back.
when they went to Madison Square Garden though?
That's not. I'm talking about every house show. I'm talking about making it on the circuit. The last time that thing was defended constantly was when Kevin Owens had it. And that was after Finn had to surrender. That's how long it's been since that championship has been on a house show.
I mean, it's been a minute.
Consistently.
It's been a minute, and Brock does not deserve to be champion.
No, I would rather say Seth does deserve this. That's another thing, too. If Seth does get the championship, you get this awesome moment with Seth becoming Universal Champion.
Which is great.
And then that could end the show because that's such a good moment because you could have Roman out there. You could have Dean out there. You could have the Shield one last hug before Dean rides off into the fucking sunset. Like, again, there's a moment here that's so big that it could be bigger than the damn show itself. Because we got Roman and Drew McIntyre now announced too, by the way.
That should be really good.
No DQ. That should be really good. And I think Dean's in that match too now. So
Whatever.
I think it's a triple threat.
Every other match is. Why not?
But yeah, we got the Seth Rollins Brock story is actually really good because Seth became given the dog a jelly bean. Seth became the Kingslayer. Now he's going to be the Beast Slayer. Like, this is a great story and a good moment that could happen. But again, will it?
I mean, all you can do is hope.
And then
All you can do is hope.
And then let's go to the moment, the big one, the Ballad of Kofi Kingston.
I'm so excited about where this could go, and I'm really, really, really scared.
Let's talk about how this happened. I know. So back at Elimination Chamber, Kofi Kingston, Mustafa Ali was supposed to be the sixth man in the chamber. He gets injured. He had a concussion at a house show. They replace him with Kofi Kingston.
Yep.
Kofi runs a gauntlet on SmackDown only to lose like the last to the next to last person. And Kofi starts getting this momentum.
Yep.
I did not expect that much momentum out of that moment.
People love Kofi Kingston.
Oh, we've said this for years on this show. For the 2 years this show's been around, or 3 years this show's been in existence. 2 years this show's been in existence. That Kofi Kingston has WWE champion written all over him. Yeah. So does Big E for that matter. Xavier has U.S. champion written all over him too. Like, I think those guys could hold anything. So that happens. Kofi almost wins the chamber. And the crowd is going nuts.
Loving it. Absolutely loving it.
You could feel the momentum building. And then when Kofi lost, it was just like, oh. And then the next night, like the next SmackDown, it was announced that he's going to get the WWE title match at Fastlane. Yeah. And again, the crowd is behind it because now this is it. This is the one-on-one match that Kofi has deserved.
Yep.
And then a week later, Vince comes out on SmackDown and replaces Kofi Kingston because he isn't a big enough star with Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And then they go into that storyline at Fastlane where Kofi gets called into Vince's office and said, tonight's World WWE Championship match is going to be a triple threat.
Yep.
And then Kofi gets destroyed by the bar, and you learn that Kofi's not the third, but it's Mustafa Ali, who I absolutely adore, but he kind of got the shittiest reaction ever.
And it's not his fault.
No, and this is what everyone's saying. Mustafa Ali's going to have a moment. His time is coming.
But his time doesn't need to be now because there are deserving people that have been through all of this.
If Kofi does win the championship, Mustafa Ali, Kofi at SummerSlam, please. Please. But, okay, so we move on, and then Vince says, well, you know what? I'll give you your chance, but you have to run through this gauntlet on SmackDown.
Yep.
And that was this past Tuesday.
And
maybe the best hour of SmackDown I've seen since the Iron Man match between Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar.
Wow.
That was a great hour of wrestling. Just Kofi's putting on a clinic.
It was really good.
And Kofi wins all 5 matches, and the crowd goes fucking ballistic.
How can you not? That is it. He has done it. He is going to get his WrestleMania match.
And You could see the jubilation in the crowd's face, and then No Chance in Hell starts playing. And now Vince comes out and says Kofi has to win one more match. And it's Daniel Bryan. And he didn't.
Because winning 6 matches in a row is ridiculous, and you shouldn't be able to do that.
And you could just feel all of that feeling just came out of that crowd at that moment. And us sitting at home, I was
so
pissed.
sad.
I was sad. I was hurt. But I'm like, they're telling maybe the best story they have ever told since, and I don't know how many people are going to agree with this, Shawn Michaels won the world championship. When they, at that WrestleMania, at WrestleMania 12, even though the Iron Man match is kind of overrated, when Shawn wins the championship and Vince McMahon on commentary goes, the boyhood dream has come true for Shawn Michaels. After they do all of these vignettes, after they do all of this building that this is his childhood dream, this is all he's ever wanted as a professional wrestler, and he gets it. That's the Kofi story. Because, but there's a race thing now being played in. Big E's promo on Twitter
Lord have mercy.
is amazing. Like, and I agree, because I was doing research before this show about WWE Championship matches and African American wrestlers, and if you take The Rock out of the equation, there's not been one at WrestleMania winning. And I don't think The Rock actually ever won at a WrestleMania either. That's an insane thought to think.
It is.
So now what? That's where we are. Now what?
He deserves this and so much more for everything that he has done.
So you have the crowd behind Kofi. You've got the backstage locker room behind Kofi. Daniel Bryan's out here calling him a B-plus player. Sound familiar? Go back 5 years ago. This is the greatest story in WWE right now. And if they put Kofi in the main event, because I think Kofi's going to have to do another weird night of like craziness. I could see them being like, whoever wins the Andre the Giant gets the WWE Championship at WrestleMania.
And then he wins it.
You have to make that the main event. I never thought I would say this, but the main event to WrestleMania this year, in my opinion, should be Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. If you would have asked anyone that 2 months ago, no one would have said that.
Not at all.
It would have been Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, or Seth Brock Lesnar. But the WWE Championship has more emotion behind it than any other championship right now. And I will tell you, if Kofi gets that win at WrestleMania, that's how that show should end. You want the best moment to end WrestleMania. You want the crowd to go home in the best possible way ever.
100% in.
That's the moment.
All I ask is that we don't end in Brock Lesnar winning. If he's going to win, it can't
Last
be the
year's
last
WrestleMania
match.
was so terrible with that.
But Kofi deserves this, and the crowd wants this, and sometimes you've got to give your audience what they want.
Do you know, like, you know when they cut to the crowd and you see just people crying? Like when a moment happens,
Yeah.
like, that's going to happen. There will be Big E and Xavier holding him up, crying.
Yeah.
This is a moment that I don't know if WWE knew what they were getting. Like, you fall into things occasionally. You just
I feel
kind
like
of
they
get
kind of
lucky.
fell into this by Kofi taking over. I don't know if that's the spot that Mustafa Ali was meant to have. And
If it
that's
is,
how well,
I feel so bad for
like,
Mustafa.
if that's how well he was supposed to do in the chamber, I don't know. And I don't think that they planned on this getting the following that it did. This gained so much traction so fast. But it's so good.
This is the hottest storyline, maybe in the since Daniel Bryan. Honestly, I can't name a thing that's been this hot, other than Becky. Becky's been pretty hot. I don't know if Becky's
she's
been
the
this
man.
hot. I mean, Becky is the number one merch seller and everything, but I don't know if Becky's as hot as the Kofi Kingston winning the championship story. And I love Becky Lynch, but my God, this Kofi story has got me glued. Like, I am not missing SmackDown.
No.
I don't give a shit what happens on Raw. I could miss Raw every week and still know what happens. Yeah, I'm not going to miss SmackDown, especially with that story going on right now. So that is the WrestleMania front.
It's so good.
I'm actually, the more I talk about it, those 4 matches have me on the edge of my seat enough to go, is it worth sitting through the other 13? Because they're not going to be bad.
No, I mean, it's going to be good wrestling, but it's
Buddy
not
Murphy,
gonna do
Tony
anything.
Nese right now is my least likely excited match. And that's kind of weird for me to say because I'm always high on the Cruiserweight Championship.
I mean, it'll be fine.
It's a pre-show match this year. 100%. And I hate that, but that is a pre-show match.
Sometimes you just know.
Let's talk NXT. They replaced Tommaso Ciampa in the NXT Championship match at TakeOver New York. I want your opinion. It is Johnny Gargano against Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. 2 out of 3 falls. Is this the match of the weekend?
Very, very possible. It really depends on
Kofi Daniel. That could actually be one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say possibly Jeff Cobb and Will Ospreay could be another.
Yeah.
And then this is this has to be on that list too.
Yeah.
Because I think the NXT show might actually have 4 match of the year possibility.
It just depends. NXT has a history of doing better with these high caliber matches just because they usually end the way that they're supposed to end.
Is this the moment that they put the championship on Adam Cole, or is this Johnny Gargano's championship moment? Because this is kind
Either
of
way, it doesn't matter.
it's a
gonna be great.
win-win. It's a
Like,
win-win situation.
The fans win. That's how this goes. The fans win.
Also announced for NXT TakeOver New York, a fatal 4-way for the NXT Women's Championship. Shayna Baszler defends against Bianca, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai. Shit.
Which again is just great all around.
The WWE United Kingdom Championship is on the line when Pete Dunne defends against Walter.
Which it already hurts me. Like I am sore thinking about that.
I like Walter. I like Pete Dunne. This match is going to be the hardest hitting match on WWE.
Somebody's gonna bleed.
No, and it's not going to be like it's not going to be on the forehead. It's going to be from chops. It's going to be Daniel Bryan's chest after like last year during the Greatest Royal Rumble. The NXT Tag Team Championships are on the line when War Raiders defend against the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. I'm not going to spoil that for you if you don't know that yet.
But it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I know. And then the other match, which is announced, it's the North American Championship. Your favorite NXT wrestler, the Velveteen Dream, against my new favorite NXT wrestler, Matt Riddle. Oh,
Amazing.
this might be a better card than last year, and that says a lot.
Because last year was great.
Last year, I still think that's the best NXT takeover. Was last year's NXT takeover in New Orleans.
I'm not gonna fight you on that.
Yeah, no, this one has a possibility of taking that. I'm a little bummed out that Tommaso got injured because I think they were going to do Ciampa Gargano for that championship in some sort of big stipulation match.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been Hell in a Cell. I'm pretty sure that's where that's supposed to go. But
Well, then maybe they can do that later on in the year.
I don't know how long he's supposed to be out for. So let's talk the other big show going on. Oh, let's talk Torrie Wilson going in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
People are pissed at Torrie Wilson going in the Hall of Fame
Why?
because she doesn't deserve it.
Why?
Because she didn't do anything in wrestling.
Did she?
She never held a championship. Okay, we're good. We understand that. But I'm going to go ahead and say this now. If you sit there and tell me that fucking Hillbilly Jim did more for wrestling during his time frame in the ring than Torrie Wilson, I'll dick kick you.
Okay.
Because Hillbilly Jim is nothing more than coming out to Thank God I'm a Country Boy and doing a wedding on Saturday night's main event. That's it. He had nothing else. He never won a championship. He never won a Royal Rumble. He was Hulk Hogan's friend. He probably sucked some dick. That's it. He's an ambassador for the company. He's done a lot of well there. Like, I'm not going to take that away from him. He has been a great ambassador to the company. But what has he done in the ring? Not a damn thing. Coco Beware had the fucking bird. That's all you can say about him. for WWE. That's it.
There's more outside of WWE with him, at least.
Yeah, no, you can actually make an argument for his time in Memphis. But you cannot make an argument for Hillbilly Jim because he trained while in WWE. Yeah. So, and then his speech is still going on now. So let's look at Torrie Wilson.
Okay.
During the Attitude Era, Torrie Wilson came to prominence. She was in WCW at the round, I think, 99 till it closed.
Okay.
Was involved in some major stories. There were no women's wrestling. There was not women's wrestling in WCW at that time. Torrie Wilson was not going to be like this huge name out of WCW, but she looked good and was a valet, could cut promo, and she got signed by WWE.
Okay.
She ended up in a ton of bra and panty matches.
So did everybody else at that time.
But that's the thing. That's the time frame. You do remember those matches, sadly, but you also remember some of the stories Torrie Wilson was in. Can anyone flat out tell me a storyline that Hillbilly Jim was fucking in? Like, I don't even think Hillbilly Jim knows the storyline that Hillbilly Jim was fucking in.
Probably not.
Other than the wedding of Uncle Elmer. And I'm going to tell you now, there is no fan under the age of 30 that fucking knows that shit. So the argument that Torrie Wilson doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame is complete asinine bullshit.
You have to look at, especially women in that time frame, not with what they did in the ring or what kind of opportunities they have, but how did they progress women's wrestling?
Torrie tried. I think Torrie got better. I think she legitimately tried. Fit Finlay did the best he could with the situation he was given. And Torrie Wilson was coming in, doing her job day in, day out. Sure, she never won the women's championship, and sure,
So did a lot of women.
Yeah, she wasn't a workhorse. The only two women at that time that were workhorses were Trish Stratus and Lita. Well, and Molly Holly. And Molly Holly. Victoria later on. But yeah, I mean, there's 4 or 5 maybe. I'll not leave out Jazz. But Torrie Wilson and Stacy Keibler are two names that you always remember because they're always associated with each other.
Yeah.
There are two names you will always remember out of that time frame. You can't tell me they don't deserve to be in the damn Hall of Fame. Also, Torrie Wilson was on the cover of Playboy.
Yeah.
Hillbilly Jim was never on the fucking cover of Playboy, was he?
God, I hope not.
Shawn Michaels is on the cover of Playgirl.
I mean, that's appropriate.
That's a photo. For anybody who's
seen that photo.
yeah, that's a photo.
I have seen that photo.
I'm over the argument of Torrie Wilson not being able to be in the Hall of Fame. It bothers me because I'm going, you know what? It's the WWE Hall of Fame. Who cares? It's a big night. It's supposed to be special. That's like dipshit making the fucking argument that Stevie Ray doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame either when Harlem Heat's been 10-time WCW Tag Team Champions, Tag Team of the Year multiple times. And when I say dipshit, everyone should know who I'm talking about. He is a fucking, I'm going to put this in, reporter of wrestling, and I put that in quotes because he's an asshat. But apparently I'm on it today.
I'm just going to let you roll with it.
10-time WCW Tag Team Champions, had some great feuds with the Steiners and the Nasty Boys. Sure, again, may have not been the most work rate professional wrestler ever. I mean, he's not going to go out.
Everybody can't be the best.
He's not going to go out and burn down towns and having hour-long matches like the Revival and Chad Gable and Bobby Roode are having. No, but damn it, did they not leave a cement marking in WCW? Because when I think of tag team wrestling, they're one of the 5 that will always come to mind in WCW.
Yeah. And they should be.
Harlem Heat, the Steiners, Hall and Nash, 2 others.
Terrible.
2 others. Tex Slazenger and Shanghai Pierce.
No.
And Bunkhouse Buck and the Blacktop Bully. Suck my nuts.
I don't think those last 2 are the people that you automatically think of.
No, it's not. My mind's like blanking right now completely. But when you think of tag teams, though, they have to be in the top 10 of everyone's favorite tag teams. Like, they have to be in the top 10 of greatest tag teams ever.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Their original gimmick, by the way, this is not a joke.
Oh, God.
At a house show, they debuted the gimmick that Harlem Heat originally had.
Okay.
They didn't go by Harlem Heat in WCW, but Colonel Parker brought them out in chains.
Oh.
Yeah. It was, there's no, thank God this is not today's time, because that video would be everywhere. But yeah. So they quickly changed that shit.
Yeah, that was never going to work.
Damn WCW. But I mean, they had a great run. Can't deny it. Some of the best matches on those old WCW pay-per-views we've watched has involved Harlem Heat.
I will give you that.
Especially the ones that are those tag matches that they just end up fighting everywhere.
Yeah.
So
I've seen good Harlem Heat matches, and I haven't even seen that much old wrestling.
So yeah, let's talk Ring of Honor. Let's talk Supercard. Ugh. Okay,
I mean,
you want me to tell you the show I'm the most
to.
indifferent over WrestleMania weekend? I'm more excited about Joey Janela's Spring Break. I'm more excited about Joey Ryan's Penis Party. I cannot believe I said those words. By the way, there is a video floating. So Joey Ryan's match at Joey Ryan's Penis Party, and I'm going to say Joey Ryan's Penis Party as much as I possibly can during this show. But at his show,
yes,
he is in a 6-person tag.
Yes.
Intergender match. It's him and 2 others. I don't know who the other 2 are. Versus Priscilla Kelly, Scarlett Bordeaux, and a third. Priscilla Kelly and Joey Ryan have pretty much made internet infamy. Priscilla Kelly is the one who took the tampon out and stuck it in someone's mouth.
Ah.
Then a couple of weeks ago, they had an intergender match.
Uh-huh.
And Priscilla Kelly threw up on his dick.
Oh.
There's no telling what will happen at Joey Ryan's Penis Party in that match. And Scarlett Bordeaux is in TNA or Impact right now. She's the one that's been doing the sultry thing, but she's actually not bad in the ring. I've seen a video of her.
Okay.
So that's I'm kind of excited for that show. Kind of excited for that show.
I'm always excited for Joey Ryan because I really enjoy him.
Then there's that Orange Cassidy show that GCW is doing that has absolutely nothing because that one show came out. But now there's like
great.
Now there's a 1-minute Iron Man match, a 1-minute time limit match between Truck T and Trent Beretta, and then the last person standing intergender. What was it? It had it's a long name and it's great.
It sounds great.
By the way, there's another video of Joey Ryan getting a lollipop shoved up his ass by Penelope Ford as well. That's happened on a show.
Oh.
Wrestling. Okay, so there's all these shows going on that weekend. And I'm more excited for the GCW list. There is part of me that thinks Bloodsport might even be worth a watch.
Oof.
Last year, Bloodsport, what they did with Bloodsport is they take the ropes off the ring and turn it into like MMA style shoots. And MMA style wrestling matches. The main event for that is Dan Severn and Frank Mir. If you know anything about MMA, that's fucking worth it. Nope. You know who Frank is. Frank Mir is kind of on the cusp. You may know him, you may not. But you know who Dan Severn is. The world's most dangerous dad.
Thank you.
That match alone is insane.
He's such a nice person.
He's going to kick some ass at that show.
He is such a nice person.
So, but now the biggest show outside WWE has to be the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor show with New Japan. Okay.
I don't care.
I did when they first announced it because I told you if we went to WrestleMania, that was one ticket I wouldn't mind securing.
Yeah.
Because when it was in Madison Square Garden, and I've always wanted to see a show at MSG.
Everybody does.
I think Ring of Honor may have bit off more than they can chew because this looks like the biggest steaming pile of poop show. And there's things on this show that I want to see, kinda, but not. I don't know if I want to go out of my way to watch it because it's on at the same time as the WWE Hall of Fame. I'll be completely honest with you.
You're gonna watch the Hall of Fame.
I'm probably gonna watch the Hall of Fame, not because it's the Hall of Fame, but because there's nothing on this show that entices me outside Will Ospreay and Jeff Cobb and the tag champs match. Yeah, I know. I'm going to get hate mail. I don't care for Jay White. Nope. I like him as a wrestler, and that's not it. I don't think he's a main event material. He's not there. I
He
think
might be at some point, but now is not the time, and he does not need to be in the position that he's in.
he got a good run. He beat some people in New Japan. I thought that's awesome. It's a good way to get him going because I think he's one of those guys you want to put the ball behind.
Yeah.
But I think they hot-shotted the championship on him because Kenny left.
And that is not an appropriate reason.
I think that's why Tanahashi got hot-shotted the championship because Kenny left. I think that's why Okada is in this match is because Kenny left. Because the original plan for this match was supposed to be Kenny Omega and Okada in New York City at Madison Square Garden. Okay, you've sold me.
100%. Phenomenal idea.
You could have gave me Okada Tanahashi at Madison Square Garden. I'm not the biggest Tanahashi fan, but as historical as that feud's been in Japan, that's never happened on American soil. You give me that one, you have sold me. I would have watched the Ring of Honor show.
Nope, Jay White.
Here's Jay White. And again, I have nothing against him because I love the rest of the Bullet Club. I love Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. I love Chase Owens to a point. I like the Tokyo Pimp. It's not a bad group. I like Bad Luck Fale. I like I can't think of his name now. Ishimori. I like the group. I don't like Jay White Borsby.
I liked him better before he came back with a new stupid character.
I don't mind the character. I really don't.
I mind the character.
He's a heel. He's doing his job. I just don't think should be in the IWGP Championship reign right now. But then again,
He's
New
not
Japan
there.
doesn't have anybody outside Tanahashi, Okada, and Naito.
Well, that's their fault.
Because so over the time, Zack Sabre Jr. should be in the talks for the championship. Shit, Will Ospreay should be in talks for the championship. There's a lot.
They kind of backed themselves into a corner by having a juniors division, though.
Did they? Because I mean, Ospreay's never openweight champion. Ospreay right now is holding that. So that's why we're getting Ospreay Jeff Cobb. It's the ROH TV champion versus the never openweight champion at Madison Square Garden. I think it's going to be the match of the night.
It's going to be great.
But I just feel the Ring of Honor show lacks something, and I don't know what it is. And it's not, I'm just going to say, it's not the Elite. That's not the problem here. Because Ring of Honor was good before the Elite.
And they should be good after, but I don't know if they know what to do with themselves
I think
now.
the problem is New Japan. I don't think the problem is Ring of Honor. I don't care for the triple threat match. I don't know. The ROH World Title match does nothing for me. Mostly because I think they're just going to leave it on Jay Lethal. Because I feel he's done everything he can do. And then once he loses the championship, then what do you do with fucking Jay Lethal?
Maybe it's time for him to find somewhere else.
It's time for Jay Lethal to move on from Ring of Honor. In fact, it's time for a lot of those guys to move on from Ring of Honor, but they won't. They might now, since there's now another place to go, but they won't.
But they could.
I'd like to see Matt Taven in a better role, not just in Ring of Honor, somewhere else, because the guy has charisma. Like, that was one of the highlights of that Oklahoma City show we went to. Was the Kingdom doing their thing by trying to say, we weren't booked on this show because of a conspiracy, and they're going off on it. It was awesome.
It was. That was quite amusing.
So Matt Taven's got personality out the ass. I don't know if he deserves to be in the world title match or not. I haven't really been watching Ring of Honor because there's nothing enticing me to watch Ring of Honor. Like PCO's in Ring of Honor. That's fantastic. PCO and Brody King are tag champs. They're taking on Tongaloa and Tama Tonga.
That will be great.
That's just going to be hard hitting. Someone's going to get hurt.
Probably.
And it's probably going to be someone in the front row.
Probably.
But
that's my biggest complaint about their flimsy barricades.
You know. But outside that, so taking the tag title, the tag match and the match with Will Ospreay, and that's it.
The rest of it, I don't feel is going to be great.
They didn't put Bandito in a match that they should have. Like, Bandito was against someone else, and Bandito lost. And I'm sitting there going, why in the world would you have Bandito lose that? That dude's a star. There's no other matches from New Japan right now. I don't know what that's about because you can't. The show's got 7 or 8 matches now. There's no IWGP Junior Tag. The Junior Championship, I think, is on the line, but I don't remember who's in. I think that's the match that was Bandito should have been in, but he wasn't. You've got that match, but no Junior Tag. No actual tag title defense. No Intercontinental. No U.S. You are doing a show on U.S. soil with a wrestler who is participating in your company as well, and you can't put Juice Robinson on the damn show? What the fuck?
It's like they're not even trying at this point. Like, they lost all of the Bullet Club.
They lost the Elite.
And
they lost
they've
SCU.
just kind of given up. Like, they're just, oh, whatever.
There was 2 others that left. But they lost Punishment Martinez because I think they were going to build a lot around him. He left.
Yeah. You have to have a backup plan.
Keith Lee was there for a little bit, but he's now gone. I think Jeff Cobb's going to be gone by the end of next year.
Yeah.
Flip Gordon's not going to be there for long.
This can be set in stone because people leave, people get hurt, different stuff happens.
Ring of Honor now is the company. I hate to say this, but Ring of Honor, I thought that Lucha Underground might be the casualty of war. Ring of Honor will survive, but Ring of Honor is going to have a lot of work to do. Because there's no one in Ring of Honor that I'm just excited for right now.
Do you
outside
think they
Jeff
can bring
Cobb.
it around?
Yeah, no, they always do. Like, there's always a mass exodus in the company. There always has been.
That's the problem with not being the top company.
Well, that's also the problem of only having one company, too, and now there's 2. So now, even more so, Ring of Honor has to compete with AEW. The only way that's going to work if ROH goes, you know what, let's work together. That's my only...
Do you think they will?
Yeah, eventually they'll have to. I think Ring of Honor ends up working with AEW or NXT.
Really?
I think there's gonna be some groundwork laid there. I think New Japan ends up working with AEW before this is all over.
Even though they said they weren't going to?
No, they're going to. Eventually they will. They'll come around and be like, hey, we should work for you guys because, you know, our top name went there.
All of our talent left, so we need something.
I think Okada is a huge name in the U.S. I get putting him in the main event. I think Tanahashi is a big enough name in the U.S. That should have been your G1 main event.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, too, really quick. G1 tickets went on sale in Dallas. They are not moving well.
Huh.
They're expensive as fuck.
Yeah, because we looked at it, because Dallas isn't that far.
I would love to go see, like, there's wrestlers I've never got a chance to see. I've never got to see Tetsuya Naito or Zack Sabre Jr. or... That's it. And there's a few. I haven't seen Jay White. And I wouldn't mind seeing Jay. Like, look, it's not that I hate Jay White. I think Jay White's awesome.
He just doesn't need to be where he is.
I'm just not a big fan of him as IWGP champion because I feel it's kind of a pity reign. And I know that it's the same thing I felt when New Japan created the U.S. championship and put it on Kenny Omega.
We're not going to give you the title, but here's a consolation
Here's a
prize.
consolation prize. Jay White got a consolation prize because Kenny Omega left. And it has nothing to do with Jay White. I would have loved to have seen a feud between Jay White and Kenny to make that a little... Because that's why Tanahashi got the championship, was because Kenny Omega was leaving.
Yeah.
Because they told Kenny he would hold that championship until Madison Square Garden. They wanted him to drop it at the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been... I don't know if anyone would have bitched.
Probably not.
But Kenny decided to go do something else. Because, again, Kenny had done everything he could in New Japan, and his title reign was ass.
And that's not his fault.
Nope.
They waited too long to give it to him.
Oh, they should have pulled the trigger a year earlier. And I told you that. I think they should have pulled it in 2017 at Dominion then, instead of waiting a year and not doing it.
Yeah.
Because they could, or should have done it at Wrestle Kingdom the next year.
Because they did not give him a good title reign.
Oh, his title reign's ass. 100% ass. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but I think that is No. So, one of the shows we're all looking forward to this next weekend is Joey Janela's Spring Break 3.
Oh, yeah.
We all know about the death of the Invisible Man. Rest in peace.
Yes.
His brother was arrested for his murder
Yep.
in Tuscaloosa. I didn't know people actually lived in Alabama.
I mean,
I've become a heel in this show, haven't I?
Several. I mean, kind of.
All right. That's what I've been doing on all shows lately. It's okay.
Kind of.
There's a report came out today that Invisible Stan, which is his name,
Which is the Invisible Man's
Man's
brother that
brother,
killed
yeah.
him.
has escaped from prison. And I have a feeling he's going to end up at spring break.
I mean, he has to be out for revenge at this point, right?
Do you think Invisible Stan actually killed him, or do you think someone else did it? Or Stokely Hathaway? That dude just got signed by NXT, by the way.
Nice. Good for him.
In a manager role.
Oh, good for him. I think Stan probably did it. To be completely honest, but also this is why you don't let people get arrested in Alabama, because they apparently can't freaking keep them.
So hopefully that gets taken care of.
I mean, we can't have this madman on the loose. If he killed his own brother, what is he going to do to the general public? All invisible people should be worried at this point.
All regular people should be worried at this point.
Well, I mean, he hasn't proven murderous towards
We don't know that.
regular people.
He might be out for blood.
He could be.
They did a memorial for the Invisible Man at a GCW show recently.
Oh, well, that was sweet.
They inducted him into the GCW Hall of Fame.
First person?
Yep. It's going to be a weird clusterfuck without the Invisible Man this year.
Does he have a son that's going to come and be a wrestler at some point?
I don't think so.
Oh.
It's going to be a weird clusterfuck.
I hope they do a memorial for him.
The Invisible Man memorial clusterfuck.
I feel like it would be appropriate.
I know they've announced some names for the clusterfuck, but the other person in the Joey Ryan penis party session moth. It just hit me.
That's who it was, but I didn't want to see it and be wrong.
I don't remember who
she's
his
all
team
over
is.
the place for the weekend.
She was last year too.
It's exciting.
Like her.
I wonder if they're going to have another special commentator for the clusterfuck this year.
It was Rod and Fun. It was Funches
last year.
Funches is great.
He was great in person too.
Just as high then as he was.
All the time.
Also, AEW made a new signing this week. And it was Allie, which is awesome.
And also really sad. Do you think Rosemary's going to leave?
Rosemary signed a 1 or 2 year contract with Impact. I feel like Impact's going to end up working with AEW in a way because Impact's worked with AAA and AAA's working with AEW. I could see that we're going to... Because I wouldn't mind seeing some of those Impact names in AEW, honestly.
No, and it would be great for everybody involved. And now that Impact's doing a little bit better for itself.
Also, on that note, Lance Storm is now a producer in Impact.
Whoa.
And so is Chris Sabin. I'm just baffled at how wrestling works sometimes because Lance Storm has been highly critical of Impact. Now he's a producer, and it's awesome because Lance Storm's amazing and has taught some of the best names in wrestling, including someone who's iconic. I wanted to do the pose so bad, and I didn't, as I realized no one would see it but you, and you would ridicule me for at least the next 6 weeks.
Oh, it's going to be longer than that because you didn't do it.
I'll do it later. There'll be a time where I'll just say, and that's going to be iconic, and then stick out my chest, and people will just look, whoever I'm with is going to be like, I almost say iconic because of them and the way they do it now. So that's going to wrap up this edition of SNS. Next week...
You disappoint me.
Yeah, well. Next week's going to be a special edition. We're actually going to do a YWWE episode to go up on Sunday to make up for the fact that we're not going to be here. We're going to do a watch-along in the style of Cinecrap.
Okay.
We discussed it.
Yeah.
Are we 100% committed to that one?
I think it's probably the best.
Next week on...
And by best, I don't mean best
No,
show.
we are going to watch the only WrestleMania that took place in 3 locations. WrestleMania fucking 2. So join us. Watch us with us on the WWE Network. You know the best part of that show is Ozzy Osbourne shows up.
I've never actually seen it.
The Chicago part, if you take out the... Okay, so if the WrestleMania would have actually been held in one venue, it might have actually been okay. But then there's the Piper Mr. T boxing match.
God.
There's the tag title match is decent. The Battle Royal's really good. It's the NFL versus the WWF in a Battle Royal, and that's fine. I thought that was really good. I think it's the British Bulldogs versus the Dream Team. I think. I know it's the British Bulldogs versus somebody. I think it's Beefcake and Valentine. I think. Or it's Wyndham and Rotunda. I'm not.
Either way.
Yeah, it's Bray Wyatt Sr. or Beefcake.
They're terrible.
And then the main event's Hulk Hogan and the late King Kong Bundy inside a steel cage. The Blue Bars of Death.
Not at all.
So next week, I think Hibble Jim actually has a match on that show. So
The fuck?
next week, WrestleMania 2. And then the week after, we are doing WrestleMania week at tbkmagazine.com, including our WrestleMania and NXT, our weekend pre-show, which will go up on Thursday.
So that we beat everything happening and we don't even have a chance to give spoilers.
Yeah, no.
Because it hasn't happened yet.
So my idea, this is our plan for that week. Thursday, we are going to do a WrestleMania, NXT, Ring of Honor, New Japan clusterfuck preview.
Jesus.
We're going to preview everything. The championship is on the line. Dun, dun, dun.
Who's the current champion?
Me. Who has the fanny pack? Me. You know what's going to happen to the loser? Phil should be back for that show.
Hopefully.
Whoever loses, the winner gets the fanny pack. The loser gets the Vince Russo autograph to carry around with them.
That's what the loser has to
That's
do.
what the loser gets.
So my goal here is to win or be medium.
Yeah, mediocre, yeah. We'll put it on a poll. We'll see what happens. That's going to be... Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a poll.
You do have a poll.
It's in the other room. I legitimately have a poll. I'm going to duct tape it.
We'll
take a picture.
We'll have that up on the stand. So next week, the week after, that's what's going to happen. Next week's WrestleMania 2. The week after, we're going to do WrestleMania pre-stuff on Thursday. And then on Monday, we're going to do a WrestleMania post-show.
Okay.
We might even save it until after Raw and SmackDown that week and cover it all in one shot. There will be new articles on the site wrestling related, though, so don't miss that, including our newest writer.
We have a new writer?
We have a new writer.
Who is it?
Who is specifically for wrestling. His name is Mark Tout.
Cool.
Wait till you see his stuff, everybody. That's all I'm going to say.
I bet he's a really big wrestling fan.
Understatement.
Good. We need that.
Fucking statement. So new wrestling articles coming. New inductions into the hall, male and female. I don't know what else. I think that's it. So next week, guys, we're going to be at Planet Comic-Con. If you want to see us, TBK Live will be doing a live edition of Live at Planet Comic-Con on Sunday. So that's why you're getting a watch-along WrestleMania 2 edition next week. And we completely...
Because we'll be
at Planet Comic-Con. So that's going to wrap up this show. Ashley, do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Guys, my name's Richard, and if you're going to turn heel under friends, make sure they're as gullible as Sting. Good night, everybody.